Welcome back to our series of What If I Start and Fail? And here we're looking at the risk of starting a business and failing, because that has been a fear for so many people. In the previous episode, we talked about a business that has faced enormous risks of failure, and that is Sony. And statistics are green. They tell us that 2 out of 5 businesses fail in their first year. And so with that alone, it scares us as beginners, as wannabe entrepreneurs. But I want to highlight that the first main reason why businesses fail is not because of the risk of starting and failing. Number one reason why businesses fail is because these businesses are started for the wrong reason. And mostly the businesses that face these enormous challenges of death is because they have started because of the reasons of the owner. And the reasons that we have to start a business are: number one, we want to make a lot of money. Number two, we want to be our own bosses and not be answerable to anyone. We want to have more free time and spend time with our family. And those are the main reasons why many people start businesses. And it's unfortunate that most businesses that are started that way end up failing. So does it mean that I should not be focused on making money as an entrepreneur if I'm starting? And I think people get it wrong. The things I've talked about, making a lot of money, having time for your family, not being answerable to anyone, these are benefits that come later to entrepreneurs after years of hard work, but not the reasons of starting. So for you to start a business and you're fearing failure, then your reasons to start must be wrong, because you start a business because you have passion for what you want to do, because you believe that your efforts and your creativity offers a solution to a certain market gap. You start a reason because you have a drive to it, and commitment and patience, because that patience is what will hinder you not to throw in the towel when things are tough. In our previous episode, we've talked about a company that could have thrown the towel a long time ago, but that company has continuously been able to reinvent and survive even when others are throwing the towel. So the reasons for you starting a business have to be right, and that fear of what if I fail will go away, because you are not starting for the money that comes after as a benefit of hard work. And so you don't get tired when you don't see the results happening instantly. When you start the business in a right reason, then failure does not defeat you. Instead, you learn from your mistakes and you get better. But you also have to love people, and that is something that people don't talk about. As a business person, you have to love people, because when you love people, then you have a lot of integrity in business. You create products that people want, and that loving of people helps you work with different types of individuals as an entrepreneur. Because as an entrepreneur, you have to know that you cannot work alone, and you have to get along with people. Another reason why I think most of us have seen businesses failing is poor management and poor strategy, because managers and owners of business normally drive the strategy of the business. And when you have bad skills being employed in management right at the top, then that kills the business. No matter how small or how big your business is, then your management skills and your strategy has to be okay. And especially because the managers shape the culture of any business. We will look at the next episode, where we'll talk about Yahoo, for example. Yahoo was basically a company that was brought down by management. And that is why we meet here at Let's Talk Business all the time, because we shape our skills in entrepreneurship. They are really, really important. Entrepreneurship is not a talent. You are not born with it. You can become better by learning to learn and to unlearn as well. And so when we have a rigid management that is not willing to learn, even learn from yourself, from your mistakes, then that sets the business into a drop direction. So one of the things that you have to do to avoid the risk of failure is to ensure that your management skills are good and your strategy is okay, because that is what management will employ. And lastly, you build a good culture, a culture of trust among your employees in your business, and the culture of excellency as well. And the culture is what will align your systems as a business owner. Another important factor is the issue of capital, which is mentioned by many, but I have not put it as number one, because capital is really controversial topic. Most businesses also fail because of capital issues. And as we spoke in previous episodes, we talked about something called cash flows. And business owners fail to differentiate between cash flows and capital. Capital is actually the amount of money you will need to start a business or expand or grow it. But cash flow is what sustains you. And whenever you're starting a business, then the cash flow question has to be there at the start. Most of the time we ask ourselves, how much money do I need to start this business? Once you get the money you need to start, the other question should be, how much money do you need to sustain it? Because it is not enough to start it, but sustaining the business is important. And we end up overestimating the money that we will make in the business. And we also underestimate the cost of running the business. So for you to eliminate the risk of failure, then you have to have that iBirds view of looking at how much cash flow is your business going to operate, to generate, and also ask yourself how sustainable is the revenues that you are going to get out of your business. So the question for you must go beyond how much money you need to start, but how much money you need to sustain the business. Because we get the money to start, we fail to get the money to sustain the business, and end up closing. Location is critical to success of a business. You can't just start that business anywhere. You have to be critical about where you are locating your business. And this might come as a surprise to many, but most of the reasons why businesses close is wrong location. You have to get the right location. Location is everything in your business. If you need professional traffic, then you have to know where you will put your business. You have to ask yourself, am I going to spend more money sourcing materials, or I will spend more selling the product? So if you spend more selling the product, then put your business close to your market. If you spend more purchasing the materials, then put your business close to where you get your raw materials. A good example is a flour milling business. Then you have to ask yourself, where do I put my flour milling business? Do I put it near the maize farmers, or I put it near the flour buyers? The straight answer to such a business is near the buyers, because the trips your business will be making to sell off the flour, they are more than the trips that you'll be making to bring in the maize. So that is why such businesses are located near the customers, because of the transport issue. Because that can really kick you out of the business. The transport alone can eat out all your profits. And then we start saying that this business is bad. But actually it is the location decision that you made. This example can be different in farming, for example, because probably you are a dairy farmer and you incur zero cost in transporting your milk and a lot of cost in bringing materials that are needed in farming. Then you would be advised to put your farm close to where you're sourcing fodder, for example, or water, and costs that are associated to production. Lastly but not least, most businesses fail because of lack of planning and strategy, and we spoke about in management that they drive the strategy. But as a business owner, then your strategy has to be okay. And strategy to me is everything, because that's everything I've talked about is on strategy. So we fail to plan our businesses and look at so many factors and we just dive into the business. Diving is a good characteristic of an entrepreneur, but has to be done calculatively. Businesses that failed to dive also died. Business like Nokia failed to dive into Android system and died. But then when you are getting into a business, then it's good to plan. And I'm not talking about building great business plan. It's simply having a good roadmap of success. And one of the reasons I have realized that businesses are dying is overexpansion. And overexpansion is led by lack of planning. That you've started a business and all of a sudden you are branching everywhere. You have to, as much as growth is important and diversity is something that I advocate for, but overexpansion can lead to failure. Because as you expand, you are consuming resources, you are expanding your costs. So that has to be strategic and has to be done with at the right timing. So I want to urge you not to fear to get into business because we have learned the reasons why many businesses are failing. Then as an entrepreneur, go with those things in mind and try to have those things in mind and go without the fear of risk of failure. And let me know if there's something I've not talked about in the comment section, and let me know the type of business that you want to go into, and if you'd like us to shape your planning together, then I'm available on Facebook, Mstari wa Mbele page. I'm also on YouTube and Instagram. You can put it in the comment. You can go directly to the messaging. Let's converse. Let's see how we can better your plan. And subscribe to Mstari wa Mbele channel and hit the notification button and wait for the next video. See you next time.